Yo, what it look like? We here. Salute, salute, salute. Yes, sir. Salute. You know that.
There it is.
Ah,
Oh, my guy
ah,
was goody.
ah. What's going on with you, big bro?
Ain't nothing, champ. Hanging in there, man. Grinding.
Listen,
You know how it is.
of course, of course. LP, what up? Everybody, what up? Salute on the check-in. So, we gotta give you the proper introduction.
Stop it.
No.
Stop.
Nah, we gotta give you. I mean, it's only right. It's only right. It's only right. Anybody that knows anything about or a little bit about New York City basketball,
Right.
high school basketball, especially in the early to mid '90s,
Indeed.
the name Charlton Clark resonates. It resonates. Charlton Clark, New York City, the BX, UMass University, St. Raymond's High School, certified tough. Salute.
I appreciate you, family. Definitely appreciate you.
Come on, man. Listen, first and foremost, we appreciate you for taking the time out of your precious schedule to chop it up with us. I know you got a hectic schedule, man. We
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, man, we thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. And, we just look forward to kicking it with you and pretty much getting to know your story. Yo, this dude is crazy.
Yeah, stay at AD. It's my guy, yo. Shout out to my man AD. It's my brother. That is my brother, no
That's
doubt.
good dude, man. Good dude. Good dude. But A game where players are immortalized and their legacies live on forever. And our mantra is we pay homage. And
Appreciate it.
you again are one of those guys that came up in an era where you'll explain it as we get into our conversation. Era
No
was
doubt.
different. Era was different.
Still
Era
is
was
different.
Yes.
Still is different.
Yes. I want you to quickly just talk about where you're from and how'd you get started with ball and who were some of your influences early on?
Well, just a kid from the Bronx, really. Parents are from Jamaica, so, Jamaicans, basketball isn't their first sport. It's usually soccer. But growing up in the Bronx is different. And times is different now, and I was speaking about it earlier with a bunch of people. Back then, the OGs kind of raised us, right? The streets, times were different. The streets was different. So we were allowed to go outside and mingle with the elders, constantly. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was the nicest from early. They used to kick my ball over the gate, run me off the court, but I kept coming back. Like, I'm going to go get my ball, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to stand here. And at some point, somebody going to have to play me. You ain't going to have enough every time. So I stood and watched, took my time, and then slowly but surely, they started to integrate, right? And then integrating with older guys, you ain't coming out there and just shining. You're going to have to learn how to play a role when you're playing with older guys. So I had to learn how to pass the ball and make sure I got the OGs the ball first before I even looked to score. There's some games and some days where I never scored a point. I was out there. You had to play defense or be the crash dummy, set a screen, or do something in order to earn your keep. And then after a while, they was like, all right, Shorty's all right. He can hold his own, right? And I think that's where that toughness came from, playing with older guys at a younger age. And then as I'm growing up now, taking that wolf mentality or that, I was telling somebody earlier, that Mamba mentality that everybody's talking about now, right? We grew up with that because we played against older dudes,
Right.
Now, kids are playing their age or the whole reclass thing. I can't really fathom it, but at the same token, it's a different era at a different age. So whenever we talk about the culture and the eras,
Right.
my era was different, right? If you played up, you was considered that dude, right? Not playing your age group if you played up, right? And, my high school coach would always say, you're burning yourself out. You're playing biddies, midgets, juniors, and seniors. And there was a couple of us doing it, but I didn't see it that way. I just wanted to get the rec in, get notarized, and play some ball. You know what I mean?
When did you realize that? Or when did you fall in love with the game? And then when did you realize that you had what it took to go and compete?
I'm not even gonna say a lie to you. I fell in love with the game when I went to go see. I was probably about 11 years old, and my coach at the time, I was playing for a local Catholic school team, Our Lady of Angels, took me to see some games. We went to Citywide. Didn't know about any tournaments. I stayed local. I stayed on the block. But he took me to a game. And that's where I saw probably one of my best friends now, Gary Saunders. Shout out to my man, Gary Saunders, Rice High School.
Shout out Gary Saunders.
Certified, changed my whole world. I walked out the gym. This kid walked out with 10 trophies at the same time.
10 trophies.
Leading scorer, most assists, most rebounds, MVP, playoff MVP, you name it. And I'm like, hold on a second. What's going on here? If I could walk on my block with 10 trophies, I need to do that, right? So
and y'all the same age. Y'all the same class.
Same
95.
class, same
Class
age.
95.
And once again, I seen Gary Saunders when I was probably just turned 11. Never played organized ball before, and I was just new to it. So around my way where I lived at Orlando, Antigua, shout out to him. Went to St. Raymond's, alumni, lived around my area, and the hood kind of was like, yo, we got a young kid that's coming up. He played with the older kids. You should check him out, O. O was the old head on the block at the time and was doing things because he was in Catholic school and making noise for himself. So Orlando took me to the Gauchos one day for tryouts. I had just came back from Jamaica, fresh pineapple shorts, fishnet tank top, looked like major hype. Word to everything. I went to the Gauchos.
How old were you?
I just turned 11. Just turned 11.
All right.
First time ever attempted to play organized ball, but once again, I used to play on the streets back at the crib. So he took me down there. You know how the Gauchos is. There's 1,000 people in there. So I walk in, I get dressed, and Orlando was like, yo, I got a young kid from my hood I've been telling you about. Yo, let him see what he got. Me not knowing no better, I just jump on the court. At this time, I'm playing against 16-year-olds, but I didn't know that till after the fact. Played, running up and down, getting my ass cut, but held my own, scoring, doing some different things. So they kind of like, all right, this kid can hold his own. Tyler Brown on the court. Shout out to my man Tyler Brown. Dennis Keenan, Rob Johnson. I mean, the list goes on, and these kids are all older than me. So played, did my thing. So they called me over like they usually do. It's 1,000 people. All of y'all could go home. Y'all cut. Shorty, come over here. So I go over there. I'm like, they're like, how old are you? I said, I'm 11. They said, get the fuck out my gym. I don't know no better. Because, everybody trying to make the Gauchos. At that time, it was only Gauchos in Riverside.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes,
so the
sir.
parity, it was no different team. You couldn't hop around. Gauchos in Riverside, and that was it. So everybody was trying to make the team. So people came in there lying, telling all different type of stories, fake birth certificates. I'm a kid straight from Jamaica on my block on Kingsbridge. Just came to get some run. Cursed me out. So Orlando see me crying. I'm putting on my clothes. Once again, the fishnet tank top was killing. And he was like, yo, what happened? I'm like, nah, he told me to get the fuck out of the gym, cursed me out, and told me to go home. So he was like, what? Nah, come over here. So then at that point, it was like, I think you lying. Let's call your mother. Why you do that? My mother's all the way Caribbean, ready to slice everybody up. So I jump on the phone. Mama Dukes hear me crying, and I'm like, Ma, just speak to the man and let him know how old I am. My son is 11. What did you do to him? Did you touch him? My mother was ready to get, was no Uber back then. My mother was ready to get in anybody cab and come down to the Gaucho gym. So he's like, nah, I'll send him with his birth certificate tomorrow. Make a long story short, I went home, came back the very next day with the birth certificate, and there was newspaper reporters there. There was cameras there, kind of like, yo, we found a diamond in the rough. Nobody know about this kid. Nobody know where he came from. He's just an 11-year-old kid, 6'1", 6'2", strong as shit. We're going to make something happen with it, right? And at that point, seeing the process, running in the Gaucho gym with that punching bag on my back, playing every day against Gary Saunders, my man Scientific Map, who also played with me. Shout out to him. And then it just took off from there, right? At 11 years old, the grind started, and then the mantra came up, no blood, no foul. And that's where I think I honed that different type of toughness, being in that Gaucho gym, watching everybody come in and out, and just kind of being like, yo, when you mention the greats or you mention somebody that's it in New York City, like you got to mention me, right?
Sure.
And it ain't come from nobody telling me. It didn't come from, we didn't have IG back at that time, right? That Hoop Scoop,
Yes, sir.
that magazine was everything. Every
Yes, sir.
month it came out, everybody was looking. And I'm kind of like, no, somebody, when you look, you better pinpoint the name because I'm coming. And, you know, that's when I started falling in love with it. 11, 12 years old. You know, I wish I started much earlier like everybody else, but even speaking about that, then the burnout factor comes in
Yes,
to
sir.
play. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of these kids are burning themselves out playing so much damn basketball. And I got in at the good time, and I think I got out at the good time. So, you know, that's when I started falling in love with it like that.
How easy was it for you to pick St. Ray's, being as though, again, shout out to Orlando Antigua. How easy was it for you to pick St. Ray's, and were there any other schools that you were considering?
So playing with the Gauchos, everything was either Rice or St. Raymond's, right? You had Rice, St. Raymond's. They had a connection with All Hallows, Cardinal Hayes. Shout out to those schools. Mount St. Michael's was another one. Salesian just started bubbling at that time too.
Right.
But I'm a kid from the Bronx. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Me getting on the train and going past 149th Street was unheard of. My mother wasn't having that. You see what I'm saying? So me being in Harlem, the furthest I went was over the bridge to chill with Gary Saunders at his crib. And right across, he lived from right across the street from Minnesink. So then me, him, and Sham started to get together, right? I lived in the Bronx on Kingsbridge. Shout out to my man Sham. I lived in the Bronx on Kingsbridge, so the closest person to me was Kareem Reed. I didn't even know Kareem Reed. Shout out to my man Reem. I didn't know Kareem Reed lived so close to me, but the hood around me chill with his hood, so everybody's kind of buzzing like, yo, we got these two kids in the hood. They're serious, right? And then Jared Lockhart came around. Shout out to my man Jared Lockhart, Marble Hill, right? So that's what raised me from Burnside to Fordham to Marble Hill to Bailey Ave to Pigeon Park to St. James Park with the Twins and Sickle and Amadou and all these guys. Like, all around me was nothing but basketball players that I didn't know about because I was just a kid. I played baseball. I was a baseball player. I played baseball and football. I threw basketball in the mix because it was kind of like that's what everybody in the streets is doing, so I'm doing it too, right? And then the passion and the love for it. Listen, I learned how to shoot and dribble from a little Greek kid that lived on my block named George, right? I was probably about 8, 9 years old when I first learned how to dribble. We lived on a building. I played on the fire escapes. That's how I started playing. We used to ring the shit out these fire escapes. I lived on the first floor, drove my mother crazy, right? Because like I said, I never played organized basketball.
Yes,
it was come outside. Whatever everybody's doing outside, that's what you're doing. If it's manhunt, we playing manhunt.
Yes,
if
sir.
it's Skelsy, we playing Skelsies, right? Flag football in the middle of the street, running, getting hit by cars and all type of crazy shit. So that's where I honed it at, right? Playing on a fire escape. Then I'm like, damn, my shot is straight. Like, I need to get to a rim. And the rim was a block up from where I live. So I had to go up the city steps and go to the park. There's plenty of nights where I snuck out the first floor window just to go into the park to just shoot. Moms were sleeping in the front room. I snuck out the window. My brother held me down. It's like, yo, she get up. Say I went to the store. Right? That's impossible because I'd have got my ass whipped. But moms was fast, sound asleep. I jumped out the window, went to go get shots. You know, shadow playing in the dark by myself with the street lights. And it was just little by little, it just started to become a hunger. It started to become a craving. And then I made the Gauchos team, walking on that block with a Gauchos bag. That drawstring bag meant everything back then. You know what I mean? And then after a while, it just took off. It was like, kept honing it. Got to St. Ray's. So St. Ray's was probably my only choice because I had some of my friends from the hood went to St. Ray's. But To me, Rice wasn't an option because it was in Manhattan. The only
Right.
thing I really knew the Bronx. Not that now, looking back, like, damn, I had options. I could have went a lot of different places. But I was a kid from the Bronx. I was staying in the Bronx. Me getting on the train, that shit wasn't happening. Not at
Mm,
all. Not at that
mm.
time.
Where were you in terms of your confidence when you got to St. Ray's? Because I just want you to touch on briefly when you got there your freshman year. What did that roster? First off, did you play varsity your freshman year?
I was disrespected.
Okay.
I tell you now. So
Okay.
what it was like when I went to St. Raymond's, you couldn't tell me I wasn't playing varsity.
Mm,
That was the type of killer that I was, right? And that was, once again, the guys from where I grew up at, that Kingsbridge, Cedric Ave, Bailey, Heath, Pigeon, Marble Hill, like they groomed me because I was playing against older kids all my life. So me going to a school, I only wanted to play varsity, right? At that time, you had Dana Dingle,
mm.
Tyler Brown, who was considered everything back then, right? Kareem Reed,
E.
Talentine,
Harris.
E. Harris, Talentine just closed down
Yes.
that year, right? And Talentine was the closest to me. So it was crazy how that all happened because my little sister, I used to take my little sister to daycare at Talentine. So I probably passed Adrian Autry and Brian Reese so many damn times and didn't know
Wow.
who they were because I wasn't into basketball like that. I was a
Wow.
baseball player,
Wow.
right? And then going into St. Raymond's, it was kind of like, oh no, I'm definitely playing varsity. Like I was groomed for that, right? And then when Coach Caesar, shout out to him, he's like a father to me. When Coach Caesar put me on JV, I felt like you really disrespected me.
Mm.
Okay, I got something for you, right? So as a freshman, I averaged 35 on JV.
Say it again.
Wasn't
Say it again.
I
Say it
can't
again.
say it again because if it was me, I'd raise the number, right? I just felt like I could have had a spot on that varsity team.
Mm.
So every day and every afternoon, I pride myself because in the afternoon we had a little thing called like TV One where it showed all the news and it showed highlights and stuff like that. Then they made announcements. That was my pride. Like when you mentioned this JV team, we won XYZ, but Charlton Clark had 45 or Charlton Clark had 39 or
Mm.
that was my thing because I'm like, how dare you disrespect me and put me on JV? Wasn't
Mm.
cocky. It was just that I put so much work and so much pain in,
Mm.
and my peers taught me to be that type of animal, right?
Mm.
I never really disrespected nobody. I wasn't for the loud talking. Like, I fuck with some dudes who was like that, right? Charles Jones, shout out to Charles Jones.
Legend.
Bad motherfucker, right? And talk so much shit and can back it up. That's why I fucked with him for that, right? Todd Miles, a lot of Brooklyn cats. Shout out to Todd Miles. Like, I
Mm.
couldn't stand Todd Miles, but guess what?
Mm.
Todd Miles brought the extra kill out of me because I'm like, if I play this kid and he keep woofing the way he's woofing and I don't do something, he always gonna have the upper hand. You understand what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? Like Ty Grant, my man, 50 grand, talk so much shit. I love him, right? But he
Tom
brought
Morby.
he brought the best out of me. You understand what I'm saying? And I was a quiet dude, but once again, once you started chirping, okay, now I'm going into kill mode,
Mm.
right? And I
Mm.
always came with the kill mode because I was just a kid who wanted to play hard. I regret a lot of things that I did when I was younger in terms of I wasn't a big student of the game back then.
Mm.
So after I played and I laid down my artwork, yo, I'm out. When do we play again? And I see y'all tomorrow. Nowadays, dudes are standing around watching other people play,
Yes, sir.
watching their moves, know their sweet spots, and understand the game like that. I didn't get all that till I got into high school and college,
Mm.
right? Now you had film. Now you had to study. These are the plays they like to run and different things of that magnitude. Before I was younger, just let me play. Let me go out there and do what I do. All right, I'm out. I'm going back uptown to be with the family or to be with the missus or whatever the case may be. But I wasn't on it like that. A lot of these dudes was on it like that because they grew up in that, right? They grew up
Mm.
watching games, going from park to park, watching this person play, watching that person. That wasn't my thing at all. I just played. And when I played and I laced them up with a purpose, right? I just went after it because I wanted to be considered one of the best. So, that's where it really came from. True story.
Your sophomore year now, you play varsity.
Sophomore year, played varsity. Me, Reem Reed, E. Harris, probably the best trio ever. Besides my trio that I had at the Geltro Gym when I first started. Me, Scientific Matt, G. Saunders, and then got to St. Raymond's and it just took off, right? It's so crazy that my sophomore year, Tyler Brown was still there. That was Tyler Brown's senior year. Shout out to my man TB once again, who could still go. But I looked up to Tyler like if Tyler was the bar. It was no disrespect to Tyler. It was just kind of like, I believe I should have been here from last year. I'm not coming to sit here to cheerlead for you. I'm coming to sit here. I'm trying to play, right? And every day I pushed Tyler. I went at him like it was personal. And one day Tyler was like, yo, we on the same team. Why are you going so hard every day? And I'm like, ain't nothing personal, TB. Like, I want to play. I don't want to sit here and cheerlead for you. Like, I want to play. And I feel like I should have been playing last year. So I'm coming for your neck. No disrespect. I'm coming for your neck. And Coach Caesar pretty much threw it out there like, yo, there's no permanent spots out here. Like, you have to earn your keep. And that was a personal challenge that I felt like you directing that towards me. Okay, then let's go, right? And I think for that, Tyler excelled and got better because Tyler was touted as one of the best since he was 11 and 12, right? When I first got on the scene, that's all I heard about was Tyler Brown, Tyler Brown, right? So, you know, as I started playing and as I started seeing what was out there, it just kind of was like, nah, you got to raise your level of play. Like, you got to, if you want it, you got to go get it, right? You can't sit back and get it handed to you, right? And I think the coach is different now is because everything is being handed. Nobody's really earning it, right? These highlight tapes is coming up, and that's why they call highlight tapes, because you only see the good plays. You don't see the bads. You don't see the ups and downs and
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? And the turnovers and all that. Everybody's running to social media to throw out highlight tapes. Nah, back then, you really had to go see somebody play and give it up to understand or tell them, yo, homie's nice, or yo, watch out for this dude, or this one is the next and up and coming. It's so different now, man. And, you know, the coach is fucked up all the way.
And I know you know that all too well because you are head coach of one of, you know, the top AAU teams probably in the country. Right. Black Ops. We'll get into that. We'll get into that a little later on. But so now you go from your sophomore year to junior year, St. Ray's.
Junior year takes off, right? Tyler leaves. We win the city and the state championship my sophomore year. Kareem Reed
ran through the city.
Ran through ain't the word, right? Probably one person that I play with that got the biggest heart out of anybody I know, right?
Legend.
Certified, ain't nothing to talk about. That's stamped, engraved in gold, whatever you want to put it in. But that year we ran through New York City, we won the city and the state. The next year is kind of like Tyler left, graduated, Damon Bonaparte. All the seniors kind of left, and it was just me, Reem, and E. Harris, right? And it was the toughest guard in the country. You got the best defender in the country. And then you got the up-and-coming Wolf who ain't backing down and running from nobody, right? So that three-headed monster, it was amazing.